And I knew that was gonna happen. I totally knew it. That a lot of people, they would come together to really support. Hey everyone, so we are on episode 4 of Kingdom, and this week SF9, iKON, and the Boyz performed, and next week it'll be BTOB, ATEEZ, and Stray Kids. Alright, so in case you guys haven't seen any of my previous Kingdom videos, I will be linking my playlist with all of my Kingdom review videos, so you guys could check them out and you guys know my thoughts on the episodes so far. Really quickly, before I do get into the video, I do want to say that I am a fan of all of these groups. I feel like I'm always repeating myself, but watching Kingdom is so fun but hard at the same time because I love all these groups. So for every Kingdom video, I asked you guys questions throughout the video to make this video a bit more interactive, so you guys could leave your answers to those questions on the comments below. I love reading your answers to them. But anyway, let's talk about this episode. So first of all, the episode started with each group reading the feedback from some of the professionals that rated their performances and stuff, and I will admit I do agree with some of the comments that the professionals said, and there were some comments that I didn't agree with. They gave each group constructive criticism, and I think that's very important in order for each group to improve and to just show an even better performance. So for the new challenge, it is called Reborn. So each group, they have to perform a song from another group. So for this challenge, ATEEZ will perform a song from iKON, and iKON will perform a song from ATEEZ, Stray Kids and BTOB, the Boyz, and SF9. This challenge gets me so excited because each group, they have to kind of change or arrange the song to make it more their style, and I'm very curious, especially for next week's episode, what those groups will do. Let's start with this week's groups. So first of all, SF9. They finally got the screen time that they deserved. I am so happy that we got to see so much of SF9 in this episode. For this challenge, they chose the whole noir film genre concept, and I love that. I'm a huge fan of just film stuff and whatnot. So InSong describes their whole storyline as two gangster groups have a confrontation, they kill the other group's boss and run away after stealing his bag. And what's in the bag? You're gonna have to watch the performance to find out. So I like how they received advice from a very well-known musical actor, and I think his advice was really good, and I think the members really did take his advice. And I like that in the behind the scenes they showed clips from different gangster movies, and they included the opening scene of TVXQ's Yunho, his music video, Thank You. Little side note, but I am a huge fan of his comeback, his solo comeback. This album is amazing. His music video for Thank You is one of the best music videos of the year. So the fact that they included the opening scene of his music video, it made me super happy. I like how iKON was cheering for SF9, and they made a comment saying it's funny how 5th place is consoling 6th place because they know what it's like to be in 6th place. But I just thought that was really funny, and I like that there's always groups in Kingdom to lighten up the mood, and in this case, iKON definitely did. And another thing I do want to mention, I really like how Taeyang, he is taking kind of the leadership role in Kingdom. And they mentioned it in the episode that for Kingdom, Taeyang is kind of like the second leader because he is very focused on all the details in the performances and trying to perfect it. And I really like how he's kind of taken up that burden, so along with all the other members as well. Okay, so for their performance this week, Mnet actually gave SF9 a wonderful description of their performance. To get the crown they lost, SF9 gave a performance based on the movie genre film noir. Emotional choreography and vivid action scenes grab and hold you, while a dynamic arrangement tells a rough, wild story. So they performed the Boyz song Stealer, but of course they remixed it and they made it their own. So the start of the performance is a fight scene with SF9 with the other gangster group. That was so good. I think how the whole fight sequences throughout the performance was well done. The guys were really into it, and honestly, they were amazing. It looked so realistic. And then after that scene, I love when Dowoon, he kind of killed the old gangster boss, and then Rowoon just enters and then he takes his seat there. That was so epic. I mean, come on, that was such a cool way to start the performance. And I'm not gonna even get started with how the guys looked because they looked amazing. And yes, Juyeon, he was shirtless, and I am not complaining. That was great. I'll admit, when I saw Juyeon shirtless, he took my breath away. That was amazing. I love it. So there was a part in the choreography where Taeyang, he's dancing in the middle. I think that whole choreography sequence was so good. I also like how they incorporated guns into the choreography. It went with the song, it went with their whole concept, and I thought it was a really cool prop to use, and I think how they used it was very well done. And another part of the performance, okay, to be honest, I love this entire performance from start to finish. And Zuho's scene when he comes with the knife, and I really liked that whole first person perspective on camera. It was really awesome. It really brought the audience, us viewers, into the whole scene. I mean, we saw the Boyz did that last week in their performance, but I like how SF9 used it for their fight sequence, and it was so good. In-song's vocals, amazing. That man can sing. Okay, I know I keep saying all of my favorite parts of the performance, which is the entire thing, but one of my top favorite moments is when Wooyoung, he has that whole umbrella sequence, how he has an umbrella and he's walking down and there's a row of people with umbrellas to each side, and then how they kind of betray him and stuff. That scene was straight out of Yunho's music video for Thank You. That was, okay, actually that's my favorite scene from his music video, is the umbrella scene in the beginning. It is a masterpiece, and the fact that SF9 incorporated that into their performance is chef's kiss. I screamed watching that whole sequence. It was so good. I was so happy. It was epic. It's just, I cannot get over it. It was so good. I think I forgot to mention, but also Dawn, he was shirtless too. He was just wearing a jacket, and yeah. I know everyone says this, that SF9, they're a group of visuals, but seriously, these men are so good looking, and we have to acknowledge it. And I'm sure that they're sick and tired of hearing people say that, but it's the truth. These men are just everything you want in a guy. Just look at SF9. And Chani's dance break was so good, and then how the whole performance just takes on from there with the whole set. I mean, the fact that they shot the thing and the crane thing kind of fell, and I'm not explaining it right, but if you guys have seen the performance, you know what I'm talking about. The whole choreography in the end was so good. Okay, so now that I believe all the groups have the same budget when it comes to sets and whatnot, I will talk about their stage setup. And SF9, my goodness, they put on an entire, they built a whole world on stage. It was so good, and I loved the different effects. It was so entertaining. Moving on from the whole set, I think the overall performance was spectacular. I think for this performance, SF9, they really put their all into it. They got into character, and they were in it to win it. They fought, and this performance was top notch. They really took the concept and they ran with it. How they really incorporated that concept was so good. They told a story from start to finish, and you don't need an explanation to know what was going on. And I think they really delivered a powerful performance. You cannot deny that these guys were amazing. I loved it. I rewatched that performance multiple times already. It is so good. So good. And you could tell that SF9, they knew they did an amazing job because they were cheering once they finished performing. And it is just so fun to watch them be proud of their performance and just feel relieved that they did a really good job. So after watching SF9's performance, Sunwoo from the Boyz, he mentioned their version of Stealer, the Boyz, was edgy and dandy stylish, but SF9's version of Stealer is wilder and tougher. And I think that is a perfect way to describe their performance because they changed and arranged the song to fit the whole concept and theme of their performance. And I think the Boyz were proud of SF9. All right, so question number 1. If you could pick a group that's currently competing to sort of incorporate another K-pop group's music video into their performance, which group and what K-pop music video would it be? So for example, how SF9 kind of incorporated a little bit of Yunho's music video for Thank You into their performance and things like that. So let me know in the comments below. All right, so next group is the Boyz. So it was really funny seeing how they tried to do the water wheel cartwheel type of dance movement. That was so funny. I really like that in this episode we had a mini Road to Kingdom reunion. 3 members of the Boyz, they met up with 2 members of ONEUS, Very and On and Off. Hyunjae and Juyeon, they joined the guys for a brunch, I guess. And I like what Hyunjae said. He said, "Let's work hard for the team who appeared on Road to Kingdom. with their share in mind. So I really like how the boys, they have the mindset that they are representing all the other groups that competed on Road to Kingdom. I think that is really special. Juyeon mentioned something, and I think this is a question that I'm pretty sure all the groups have asked themselves. He mentioned if they should do what they're good at or attempt something new and shocking. And then Hwanwoong, he kind of gave his response, and I think what he said was really smart. But again, I think that is a question that all the groups do ask themselves at one point. Question number 2, which friendship groups do you enjoy watching on Kingdom, or friendship groups that you would like to see formed in Kingdom between which groups or which members? Let me know in the comments below. So the boys decided to perform SF9's amazing song, Osollemeal. So that is a Latin Spanish type of song. It's very different from what the boys have done in the past. So their performance was described as the final serenade under the red sun, extravagant, intense show that took samplings of Moulin Rouge and Schubert. So I think the fireworks in the beginning was really cool, and I have to say the whole flamenco dance incorporated into the choreography was well done. I love seeing the boys partner up with female dancers. I think the whole choreography sequence was really good. And Sunwoo and his whole rap verse, and especially the part when he says Amor Eterno, that was so good. It gave me chills. I think how the song was arranged was really good. It had a lot more tango elements to it. I think it also has to do with the whole Moulin Rouge and Schubert, those compositions combined. I have to say, the whole eclipse at the end, that makes me wonder if that is just a preview to their next performance, even though they probably don't know what song they'll perform or what's the challenge. But knowing the boys, that's probably a hint to the continuation of the whole storyline that they're kind of doing with Game of Thrones. So they might incorporate that in their next performance one way or another. And it just gets me really excited to see what the boys will perform next, because again, you never know with the boys. If it wasn't for the whole behind the scenes part of the episode, I would have had no idea that the whole torch thing that Sangyeon was holding was supposed to light up. I do think the part where his hand was on fire was really epic, and it sucks that he wasn't able to light up the torch, but honestly, if it wasn't for the whole behind the scenes montage, I would have had no idea it was supposed to light up. I thought it was just a torch that they were supposed to hand over to each other, or like a staff. But I think the choreography nonetheless was so good. And the boys, just like the professionals that they are, they continued the performance. And again, as an audience, as a viewer, I had no idea. I thought the performance was absolutely perfect. All right, so moving on to the next group, and it is iKON. So I really like how Donghyuk, he is taking a director role in their whole performances. We really see how he pays attention to the details and the overall performance as well, and wanting to make it the best that it can be. Kind of like Taeyang in SF9, how he is overlooking the whole performance aspect. And I think the whole conversation of iKON with ATEEZ was very sweet. And something that I was looking forward to in Kingdom, which I saw this in Road to Kingdom, is the friendships that are made in the show. I mean, we saw it on Road to Kingdom. All the groups are very close together, and I think the same thing is happening with Kingdom, and I love seeing those interactions. All right, so question number 3, which member from which group has definitely gotten your attention during Kingdom that otherwise you weren't really paying much attention to until you started watching Kingdom? So let me know on the comments below. So iKON, the song that they chose to perform is ATEEZ Inception. So I do want to say, I think if they would have gone with Pirate King, it fits more of iKON's vibe and sound and concept. This is just my own personal opinion. I think it would have been really fun to see iKON do a cover or a remake of ATEEZ's Pirate King, but that's just my opinion. But Inception is still a really great song. I like how iKON took the whole Inception concept literally. The inspiration for their performance was the movie Inception, and they literally brought that movie to life in their performance, and I loved seeing that. Their set was so good. You could totally tell that they went all out with it. They had moving buildings and how the road came up and things like that. It was really cool. And I have to say, not because he's my bias or anything, but because it was just so awesome with seeing Bobby's verse, how he looked like a hologram. Those effects were really cool. And I think in this performance, iKON really enjoyed themselves, just like in their earlier performances of Rhythm Ta, how you could tell that the members were just enjoying the stage. And I think we saw that in this performance, especially with Bobby again. I think all the members were so good. The vocals were spectacular. The dance break towards the end, as soon as the lights turned red and then they did that movement with all the dancers, I'll admit I kind of screamed, and I was shocked and speechless at the same time because it was so good. It was like, ah, yes, this is what I wanted to see. It was just so epic and it was just so fun to watch. And you also see in the episode the reactions of the other groups, and how they reacted is the exact same way that I reacted while watching it. I could rewatch that whole part of their performance like a million times over and never get bored of it. It was so good. So iKON definitely changed up the song Inception to fit more of their style, and the chorus was so good. I really enjoyed the choreography in the chorus. Again, iKON is a group that they have their own swag, they have their own style, and I liked how it definitely showed in this performance. Again, it reminded me of Rhythm Talk. I love seeing iKON have fun on stage because as a viewer, I have fun watching them perform, and you could tell when a group really enjoys their performance and when they're just having fun. So I'm gonna talk about the whole ranking situation. So I mentioned this last week, and literally what I said last week happened this week. I mentioned that with this show, you never know what can happen. Whoever's placed in 6th could be placed in 1st, or whoever's in 1st could be placed 6th. And in this week, sadly, the Boyz was ranked 6th place. Again, I mentioned this in my previous video, regardless of what group gets 6th place, it is heartbreaking. And I continuously say this, but all the groups are extremely talented. They have their own charms, and I don't believe any group deserves a place lower than 3rd place. I hate seeing a group in 6th place, but I do believe when a group is placed really low, the fans will rally up more and they will support the group even more, and I believe the group will push themselves to perform even better and to do something even stronger. But again, seeing the Boyz in 6th place is so sad, because in this episode we do see how they were concerned how they got 3rd place, and I understand because in Road to Kingdom they were placed 1st. By the way, I'm talking about voting by domestic and global fans, which is 40%. So I'm talking about that ranking. And Stray Kids was placed in 1st, SF9. They got ranked 2nd place in the global fan voting. Lack of screen time for SF9 last week, I know that that got a lot of people rallied up to just support SF9. And I knew that was gonna happen. I totally knew it. That a lot of people, they would come together to really support SF9. So again, we see how SF9 and iKON, they were 6th and 5th, but then when it comes to the global fan voting, they're placed higher. So with this show, you really don't know. Every week it's gonna be a surprise who gets ranked in which place. So it's really interesting to see how different the rankings are depending on what you're looking at. So expert panel evaluations, the ranking for that is different than the voting by the 6 competing groups, or the video view counts, or voting by domestic and global fans. But I do believe this will motivate the fans to continue to vote and to really spread the word about the Boyz. And I think the Boyz will continue delivering even more powerful performances. I mean, we saw that with SF9, we saw that with iKON, and I continue to look forward to all the groups' performances. And especially next week, the fact that ATEEZ is going to be performing Rhythm Ta, and Stray Kids, they're going to be covering BTOB, and I think I'm looking forward to even more than any of that, BTOB cover Stray Kids Backdoor. That is going to be legendary. I cannot wait to see that. We saw the preview, we saw Minhyuk, and he's my bias. I keep saying this in every episode, and I don't know if I'm ready for that performance, but I better be. I'm so excited for it. I know it's gonna be amazing. So if you guys are new to my channel, hello and welcome. You guys could feel free to subscribe. I post reaction videos on a weekly basis, and I also have a blog where I talk more about comebacks, album reviews, and song reviews. I will link it on the description box below so you guys could check it out. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!